But now, if you have two scenarios in play, like if you were a trade analyst and you have a bullish scenario, you have a bearish scenario, now how do you place trades to cover both angles?
So let's say if we come back down and sweep this low and we get filled for this 50% remaining bid, because right now we're only 25% filled, based on how we've calculated our risk. You know what I'm saying? We got 25% of our position filled at this wick. If we come back down and get filled for 50% of our position, our average price entry will be right here where the black line on this long tool is. We'd place a stop loss below these wicks right here, below the day one demand, because I'm expecting it to hold. You know, if we get a wick in here and continuation up, this was my potential long play. Average entry right there at the black line. Exit here, take profits.
What's that price there?
Maybe not fully exit, but definitely take 30? Some profits here. But that was if we got this 50% play, right? 50% filled, but we didn't get that.
So with 25% filled, would you just hodl here, or would you take at that H12 supply? Would you take profit there and then buy back on top of it, or would you just hold?
If we were if we were heavier invested, if let's say we filled 50% at this level, if that's what we decided to do, maybe I would decide to de-risk here, maybe take half off the table, so I'm only have a 25% of my position open because there's a potential chance that we reject and come down again. Who wouldn't want a little bit of profits to compound lower, you know? But since we only got 25% of our position filled here, I'm just going to leave it there. Now, let's say the bullish scenario does play out. Where would you look to add, right? So bullish scenario, we break to the upside, we come down to retest this 12-hour supply. I'd be adding 25% of my other position there, right?
Gotcha.
That's now new support with that supply.
Yeah, resistance flipped into support. It's a supply zone. It's resistance now. We obviously know it's been rejected once. So, yes, the supply is acting as resistance. We're at it again. Who knows if we're going to break it? We'll see. So the bullish side, break above it, come back down to retest. I'd be adding, you could add about 25% more of your position there. It would average you out somewhere in the middle, right? So let's say you get averaged out right there. You get averaged out right there. You know, have your stop loss. You'd probably want your stop loss, I'd say below this wick. It'd probably be a safe spot. So that's almost 12%.
That you're at. Okay.
And it's almost 12%. The stop loss for your long.
Yeah, and at this point, honestly, if we retest this, if we break through and retest this 12-hour supply, I wouldn't be aiming to get out at here anymore. I would be holding until new highs. You know, the only reason I was planning on getting out, at least taking somewhat of profits there, is because we would have already been in almost the full position. You know what I'm saying? I would want to take some profits and then bought back in on a retest or something like that. You know, take some profits, compound a little lower. You know, some may say that could be over trading, but to me, taking profits and de-risking yourself along the way is never bad. You know.
Nope. I sell a little high and then buy the bounces.
If we break above here, you add 25% more of your position here. I'd be holding for new highs, you know.
I'm steady holding, and I said I got my steady hodl bag and 30% to do what Billy's saying.
And remember, so if this caused us to have a 12% stop loss below this wick, you know, we have once we break above and retest and show some signs of continuation up, now we got to break above this day one supply before we even think about new highs.
But then we're in uncharted territory again. You want to be in before that happens.
In the matrix,
there's no telling where we're going when that happens.
Yes.
You want to be in the mix before that happens.
And remember, with risk management involved, you know, you have to think ahead of time, you know. If you were to buy 25% of a position here and 25% of a position here on the bullish scenario, well, how is that going to work out as far as your stop loss? If you know you're going to need your stop loss below this wick, below these two supports, you got to do the math, right? So
Do the math.
say you have a
Do the math,
$10,000 trading account. You want to risk 2% on this trade. We have a 12% stop loss, so divide your risk by the percentage of your stop loss. So this means you could have almost $1,700 in play. So let's say $1,700 in play,
That
right?
looks like a
And
So-
Bitcoin
and you
address.
could risk that with 12%.
With the 12% stop loss. So
Okay.
if we know that this bid was 25%, maybe up here in this range, you want to start de-risking yourself so that this bid is only $420. You know what I'm saying? So now you know. So take some profits so that this position is $420. This filled, the remaining open position you have is only $420. Now, on this retest, when you're looking to buy a little bit more, 25% more, you know you can buy another $420 worth here to get an average price in the middle here with a stop loss at 12%. Now you're in, let's just say we chose 420. So now you have
Bloody brow.
$840 at risk, right? With the 12% stop loss. It's still only risking about it's $100 now because you're only 50% filled, right?
Yeah.
So now let's say we break above. I would be adding the remaining 50% of my position on the retest of the daily supply here. So
So then you're
you
gonna
can
be
get in
all
with
at that point.
you can get in with the other remaining $840 there, but you also have to remember that doing that you're going to be getting a new average position around 3,700.
I mean, in my personal opinion, that's risky for the all-time high retest because once it goes through the all-time high, there's no telling how far it's gonna go. It could just go like a rocket.
Well, usually there will be a retest. There'll be a slight retest, and the retest is always confirming continuation.
If
you know?
that's true,
It's usually-
then we
it's
still
usually
have to
good for the
retest
market,
16K if that's true.
Yeah,
think-
I would only hope that we go to 16K.
I think we would still need to retest it
Everyone doesn't
before
want to
that
hear
then.
it, but I
So-
want to go. Drop
And
it.
this
Drop
is
it
my
like it's
this is
hot.
just my personal opinion.
But another thing too is like, let's say we do break above here and retest this. There, we don't know that we're going straight through this daily supply. So maybe what you could be doing is, as support continues to tap this 12-hour supply, maybe you can potentially continue to add little bits there as support begins to form, so you can visually see it, just like what we're seeing here on this 4-hour supply, right? Okay, well, we bought a little there, right? Or we bought a little here, but now it started to tap it again. So now we're thinking, okay, look at the support that's forming here. Maybe it's, maybe we could be a little more confident that we could continue to add there.
It's like the
Once we have
300 Spartans there.
support, yes.
They're holding the line.
It really all just depends. You want to take current price action and give yourself a bullish or bearish bias. You know what I'm saying? As support starts to form, add a little more. Just don't go all in on the first tap of this 12-hour supply. You want to scale in
She
and
does
scale
not like
out.
that.
You know.
You do not want to tap it.
But yeah, I mean, those are a couple theories
All in at once.
for Bitcoin. If we switch over to Ethereum.
And if anyone is slightly confused, we are actually going to have weekly updates with beginning tutorials on just even the basics of how to buy a Bitcoin and the simplest avenues of how to get into Bitcoin. So if any of this sounds like a different language, well, it is, right? It's coding.
Yeah.
It is a different language, but Billy's gonna be updating and doing tutorials on the basics. So you'll be able to catch up on this if you're sitting there like me sometimes.
How do I get a Bitcoin and send it to somebody? We're gonna show you how.
Ascending we got you.
And with Ethereum, I know last week we mentioned that this 4-hour supply would be a good spot to buy a little bit, but I should have went in more detail on other places to put some bids, and these were places that we chose to put some bids, and we got filled.
Did we do good?
We got filled on a couple
Okay.
bids.
But
I did decide to de-risk here, so I took half my position off here.
Okay.
Tiny gain, made a tiny gain, but it allowed me to get my average position lower while being at risk half the amount. You know what I'm saying? Because we're tapping a 4-hour supply here that we already saw rejection here. Same with Bitcoin. If you look at these, there's 4 straight consecutive 4-hour candles that have just gotten sold off in this zone. So I chose a de-risk there. We're at risk half the amount, and what I want to see, I mean, to get filled up some more.
$10,000 Ethereum.
So we got filled here on the 4-hour supply. We got filled another 25% here on this daily demand, right?
So this is laddering.
Yeah, scaling in. Ladder your bids in little by little on supports. And always, you got to think ahead, right? You got to think, well, if I buy this much here and this much here and this much here, well, I need a stop loss here, just for example. You got to take your percentage into account. You got to think ahead. Okay, if I buy here, here, and here, but I need a stop loss here, with only 2% at risk of my account, how much can I really get? So I think we do have video on how to calculate your risk and your position sizing on our YouTube channel if you guys want to check that out. You really got to think ahead and plan ahead, which is what we did. But since I know that this seems like some potential pretty strong resistance, I've decided to de-risk here. Place a stop loss here. If this continues up, I'm keeping my stop loss here, right? But if we get rejected, since I have de-risked a little bit, I don't even have a stop loss in play yet. If we break above, I'm keeping my stop loss there, or I'm placing my stop loss there. But right now, I don't have a stop loss. I want to get filled at this 4-hour green zone demand, right? So I've de-risked half my position. I want to buy the other half at this 4-hour
once
demand.
Once it bounces off, and then you set that as your stop loss once it bounces?
Yep.
Got it.
So let's, for example, I de-risked. So we have about 37% of our accessible position in play right now instead of 75 or 25% because we got filled 225% bids, right? So we were 50% worth of our accessible position based on how much we can risk. I have de-risked it to 25%. Now, what I want to do is buy 50% more of my accessible position here at this green zone. So what that's going to do is that's going to give us an averaged entry right around this zone right here, right? If we get filled for 50% here, we got filled 25% here, we're going to be averaged out right around here. Now I want my stop loss below this. I mean, you could do the wick. But another thing is I was looking at is this 4-hour 200 moving average. That 4-hour 200 moving average holds up as pretty damn strong support most of the time.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be going up, right? I mean,
so I think right around this zone would be good. We'd have about an 8% stop loss because in the coming days
below the 200.
By the time that price falls potentially there, you got to think that this moving average is going to move up towards this way, right?
Yes.
So my stop loss is going to be placed right below that,
the 200,
underneath some of these wicks that I see have held up as support right here. So if we place it there, I think that would be a good spot. And then I'd add the remaining 25% of my position on a retest of this 4-hour supply before potentially
we're going to do this. We're going to have an account where we put our money where Billy's mouth is. This is Vegas. We're going to put
we'll have a live trading.
And Billy could do this with our account live, and you could see the progress of what we what we do. So we're just not up here jibber jabberoni, and
Yeah, I
we're
think-
gonna actually put money into this.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, because then we
Yeah.
can actually show you guys exactly. We'll show you guys our real account. You know
what
what
we're
I'm saying?
doing with our money. I don't want to lose money.
We
So
can-
we're gonna
Trade live on live on the show for you guys.
Yeah,
With
we're
your
gonna-
stocks
we're-
and crypto.
we're
both.
gonna start it up so that we're actually doing what we be saying.
So yeah.
And with that said, none of that is financial or investing
No, don't
advice.
listen to us, dude. We're the Cryptardz. Come on, man. Look at me. Look at this beard. You should not take any financial advice off of me. I look like I'm homeless in California and moved to Vegas. There's no way.
That's not hard to be homeless in California right now. I
This
think
is
majority
true,
of
this is
California
true,
is
yeah.
homeless right now.
So yeah, the current levels that we're watching on Ethereum, like I said, we got filled here, we got filled there. We had an average, we had an average buy in the middle of both of those, since they were equal amounts. We came up to this 4-hour supply that acted as resistance there. I decided to de-risk a little bit, took half off the table, so we're only in play for 25%.
Are we in the
So-
profit
so-
from where we bought
Yeah,
in?
but
and
yeah,
filled
but
it?
not by much.
Okay, but we are in the profit.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the only reason I decided to de-risk, obviously, as I mentioned already, is that we are up against a supply zone that was acting as resistance. And I'm hoping for, my reason for me doing that was that I'm hoping for a down move back to this 4-hour demand, the
We all
green
are.
zone, get filled for 50% more of our position as well, and it would also be confluent with the 4-hour 200 moving average, which is a pretty good support zone. A lot of people look to buy the dip at the 4-hour 200 moving average. So I'm just trying to think ahead here. You know, we're at
Confluent.
resistance. If we fall down, I think that would be a good spot to buy in at. You know, to
Yeah.
add on to our
Add
current
the
position. So once
Yeah,
we do
you-
get that fill, we're going to be getting an average buy right around there. Stop loss below it, below some of these wicks down in this zone that I see with support. And, after that, we should be back on and off to the races.
What's your call for this weekend? What do you think where are we gonna be at next
So a
week?
couple of key levels to just watch is, if we get, and that's the other thing. That was the bearish bias. So now the bullish bias is we actually do make it back above this 4-hour supply, hit the previous all-time high, come back down to retest the 4-hour supply, and that's the cool thing about de-risking at this zone is even though I took half off the table, well, I can always add it right back if we break above and then come back down to retest. I can just buy it right back. You know what I'm saying? Why not take some profits?
Yes,
Even
yeah.
though they were small, minuscule profits. But
Profit's a profit.
sell at resistance. I
Profit's a profit.
sold
You can't
half at
stop it.
resistance. And if we do end up breaking back above without coming back to hit this green zone, well, I can just add it back on the retest. You know what I'm saying? And if we do get back above, I may think about adding maybe 50% of my position back there. You know, it's you really just kind of got it. You have to gauge it based on certain levels, and that's why playing it level by level and then being able to mark out these specific levels, which we'll do another lesson on order blocks and how to identify certain areas of supply and demand and support and resistance. We're going to continue to do those. Maybe next episode we can do that along with what were we saying? How to even buy Bitcoin? How to even
Just the
the
simplest
cheapest
stuff.
ways. We're going to show you the cheapest ways of getting Bitcoin from one account to another.
What a Bitcoin
There,
address
there are some
is.
free options to buy Bitcoin. There are some options that charge, a small fee, and there's also options that charge ridiculous fees. So
Yeah, we don't want people trying, and we like simple things. We don't want people sending Bitcoin to a Dogecoin address, sending their money to a meme. Just simple stuff like, how to even get in, link your account,
Just
to
the
buy
basics,
Bitcoin. Like my brother was like, how do I even get in here?
How do I send you some money? How do I send you $10 in
yeah,
Bitcoin? So we'll teach you the most basic like that. How do you send your friend or family member $10 in Bitcoin?
Let's
And
bring
how
up
you
the
send
chart real
me
quick one more
money as
time.
well. I have my QR code up
How to
there.
donate money to us?
Once you get it together.
Can we bring the chart up
kick
real
me
quick
down
one more time?
something.
So I just want to do a super quick breeze run through of what we just went over, right? So bullish bias for Bitcoin, right? So break above the 12-hour supply, retest it, bounce around here, bullish. Definitely bullish, right?
If we get above that.
That's the bullish scenario.
What's
Bearish,
the Bears doing?
bearish scenario. Reject once again off this 12-hour supply. Come down to sweep this low before potentially
Getting in that zone.
working our way back up slowly.
That still seems bullish, though. That's not bearish. That's
Yeah,
still
it seems
going
like
up.
we're going up.
The
Buying
output.
Bye.
Short-term bearish.
Short-term, I get you
you know?
for that little dump.
Yeah, just
I'm buying it all.
you know, because a lot of people might be looking at this move right now, being like, "Oh man, it's making its way back up," and they may be getting excited. But you gotta be able to identify these key supply and demand zones, because if you don't, you may think, "Oh, look, it's making its way back up to the to this top up here." But look, we're at a key supply zone, and it's a 12-hour. You know, it's you know, the higher the time frame, the stronger.
Buy when
the
there's
stronger
blood
it
in the
is.
streets.
So-
When it's red and it's I'm buying.
Once you can identify
Dead
these
bodies.
levels and these zones, it becomes a lot easier to create these bearish and bullish biases. So that was for Bitcoin. Ethereum, right? We bounced off this daily demand. We need to get back above this 4-hour supply and retest before continuation up. That's the bullish side. Get above this 4-hour supply, which is around 1370.
Get it up.
Right?
Get
But
it
we're
up,
at the 4-hour supply right now. So the bearish side would be to reject off of it, come back down and tap this 4-hour demand before potentially reversing the trend upwards.
The trend is your
So
friend.
just keep an
to
eye
the
on those
end.
levels.
Like Chucky said, I'll be your
Look
friend
back,
to
rewind the
end.
video if you're a little confused. We went through it too fast. You can always rewind and rewatch it. But
Yeah.
we'll be doing an update video once we see some key levels of market structure broken, you know, reclaimed, all that stuff in a few days. We'll be doing an update video for you guys.
We will be explaining the simple stuff. And if you see me at your local hospital or morgue, you know, don't go looking for these Robin Hood folks, okay? As I'm pull some Youngstown stuff on them, okay? A couple kidneys here, a couple brain stems here. And the revolution is here.
No, but before we do sign off for our second episode, I do want to say thank you to everybody that's supporting this Wall Street Bets movement and that's trying to bring down these hedge funds and give power back to the people in the exchanges where it should be. The fact that they're trying to take it away from us and that they can so blatantly, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
So we need to keep fighting. If you're holding GameStop, AMC, EXP, GNUS, KOSS, SKT, NAKD, and you're in a position where you're financially stable enough to actually hold it and it not affect you, then please keep holding.
it.
Let's
Yes.
let's make a statement. Let's prove something to these hedge funds.
Let's put it on their chin for a couple times so they realize they can't fuck with us.
That's real talk. And then to all of our viewers, subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure, if you're not subscribed, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/Cryptardz, and on all social medias @Cryptardz.
And my OnlyFans will be in the link, maybe. We'll see if you're worthy. Somewhere down the line.
We will be opening up a private Discord server if you guys want access to altcoin plays, other altcoin plays, because we are taking altcoin plays personally. You know, if you guys want access to those charts, you know, we will have a paid subscription service, and if you guys want, you know, 24/7 access to maybe plays that you guys are interested in, if you guys want us to chart something out for you, give us our insight on those, we will also have another subscription-based service for that.
And you'll
as
be
well
able to
pretty soon.
you'll be able to subscribe to that through our Patreon. So be sure to go to patreon.com/Cryptardz.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's your boys, the Cryptardz. We out.
See you later.
Thank you.